picks. What is it? Is this an old song? How old is this song?
I was gonna ask you if you listened to it, man. Yeah, well, it's a 1969. This track came out. It's by a like super indie band, even at the time, named Taurus. Did
Never
you like
heard of
it?
them. I mean, it was like an old, like it was good,
Early
but it was like
morning sun.
they call you the old soul for a reason. So there you go. You just brought up
I've always said I'm an 84-year-old man stuck in a 28-year-old's body, and yeah, man, no, this song really reminded me too of No More Early Mornings for Urban Meyer. That's for sure. We'll get to that in a little
Oh
bit.
my God.
But this song, dude, I don't know. There's something about it. It made me get a little pep in my step. You know, you're waking up at 7 a.m. knowing that you're surely going to walk into, you know, a room of a kid that, you know, may bite you, may attack you, or may just, you know, hang out and you guys learn math together. It just kind of depends. All respect to the kid that won't be named. But, you know,
what the fuck? I was like, what is going on?
gives you a little boost in the morning when you sometimes got to go into the wild jungle.
Oh my God. I was like, what is he talking about? I guess this was back at Landing. Was that at what's it called? What was the elementary school that you went to with everyone? Is that where you got?
I didn't go to Cedar Lane, which was the elementary school I think everybody went to, it seems like. And there's a Selden's Landing as well. A lot of people
That's the one.
That's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
But despite local elementary schools, Nudie, this is not what the show's all about. I'll get us back in direction before I go on that whole tailspin. Do check out that song if you haven't heard of it. It's called Early Morning Sun by Taurus. Little Jim I found one day just kind of going on a run trying to lose my beer weight, nude. But let's get this show on track. Of course, I am Little Joe. Ooh, my minor co-host to the side. We'll call him my minor co-host.
Why
to
do
the
you
side,
do like
40%.
I give you good intros all the time. I say my co-host to the front, usually to my side. Little Joe, ooh, meaning you're like right congruent. Over here, you're calling me minor. You call me all this, and like I just am nothing but like
I mean, I've earned
nice to you and enjoy your company. But you know what? Let's just that's me giving you
Rip
like
that Band-Aid off.
literally an edible arrangement and you spitting in my face. But that's just how it is. When you're the most hated, you're the most hated.
Edible arrangement without chocolates, you asshole.
Hey man, you just said you were trying to lose weight, so I was being conscientious.
And of course, my partner, none of this is possible without him. I'll give you some love today. It's the holiday season. 50%, 49% of the show is from him. Gotta love him. Michael the Pharaoh Shanuti, baby. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Better than most NFL fans today. Like, we'll get into everything, but I'm pretty sure right now I am happy that right now my team isn't, knock on wood, affected by what's going on that much. So
before we get, I want to throw a little bomb that we didn't even discuss at you.
Mm-hmm.
How does this sound to you?
What?
Steelers opening quarterback in September next year, September 2022. Number 12, Mr. Immunized, last year's MVP, Aaron Rodgers.
Does it
get you like the Deshaun Watson news got you? Does it get you like the Deshaun Watson news got you? Do you got a little space in your pants?
Hold on. So I guess I'll just go into the state of the Steelers already, because we're going to talk about the state of the Steelers and the state of the Washington football team. Yes, Aaron Rodgers is 10 times getting me have more chub filled with cum than Deshaun Watson before the allegations.
Love it.
Because
family show, by the way. Family show here, face of the franchise.
Not this time. If we're talking about Aaron Rodgers to the Pittsburgh Steelers, that's definitely not it. But
listen to the young children, go ahead and skip over this part, because Newt is about to be filled with cum if he's not already.
Oh my God.
Again, Newt is filled with bags of cum. He's a sick, disgusting pervert. He wants to be a father someday. Newt, go ahead.
So there is rumors of Aaron. I mean, like it's been rumored he's been doing this song and dance with us that he wants to come to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then all this, and then somebody's like, if we let go of certain players, we can also get Devontae Adams with Chase Claypool and Deontay Johnson. And I'm like, dude, all right, pump the brakes. I'm like, there's still kind of a situation where we can still make the playoffs.
How fast some of your fans moving?
No, I mean, like, there's a lot of fans who believe in it. Like, actually, like, they're buying stock into it. They're doing all this. But for me, I've known, like, I'm realistically knowing the Steelers. They don't do stuff like this often, but in recent memory, they have been aggressive. They went after Mika when I didn't think they were. They went after Devin Bush in the draft, which I didn't think they were. They went
Yep.
after Najee in the first round, which I definitely didn't think they were going to do, but they
Really?
did. Well,
You kind of
recent
had to have a feeling. You knew they needed a running back.
in a feeling of a sense of like there were so many second round running backs that I was like, okay, maybe they'll go after like who's another rookie running back. I don't know, fucking name here. And then they would draft like
Yeah.
an offensive lineman or whatever. I didn't think they're actually going to do Najee because like they're like we like the highest we've gone in a running back in recent memory was Le'Veon Bell in the second round, which is where I thought we were gonna do. And I'm just like, all right, cool. So,
I do
but
remember you mentioned the second round, and you did mention at the time too that Najee Harris was a possibility, but you thought in the second, correct?
I thought there was talk. Well, that's before the Seahawks traded, the Dolphins traded back. Like those two were the not in the Najee Harris kind of realm of picking because we didn't know what Chris Carson was going to do. Rashad Penny is always injured. Dolphins have this like three-headed crappy monster and like uh Gaskin and Brown and Ahmed. So they needed like something there. And they had good offensive line. We don't. So
Yep.
I was like, I didn't know what the plan was, and they go after him. Mika has been a revelation. Devin Bush is still coming back from the injury, so I'll give him one more year. I'll give him this year off, kind of thing. Like you suck this year, like but next year you need to be better, or you're gonna get cut. So I mean,
Yeah.
the state of the Steelers right now, I mean, like we beat the Ravens. Obviously, I was elated. I was wiling in the stadium. I was in the stadium going nuts. I
That's
was
right.
harassing my cousin who is a Ravens fan. I have videos. It was an absolute like the energy levels were so high, and you could feel it with the Steelers. You could feel it with the Ravens. That I knew on Thursday night with the Vikings we were going to come out firing, and we did it. And we went down 29-0, and then people
I
were
mean, you
like,
did what you did all season so far,
"Oh,
right? Now you've done
bro,
what you've done all season in a certain sense.
oh my gosh!"
There, and I
Far
was
out.
tempted to look at your Twitter, which I almost never do. I never look you up. I usually just go again. I have my old gambling account. We know I go on Twitter with.
Yeah.
I check
Oh yeah,
out
yeah, yeah.
kind of the scene, my vibe, the scene. And your one of your things was if they could have played the way they play in the fourth quarter all season, you guys would be undefeated again right now.
Undefeated, but like
You guys
undefeated to, but it's
would be
undefeated
13 and
like
0,
with
right?
13-0, but like a convincing 13-0. It wasn't like last year
Right.
where we were frauds, but like the,
Right.
the the amount of change that happens between the first three quarters and the fourth quarter with this team is absolutely insane. Now, people are saying it's because Ben is drawing up the plays in a no huddle situation. And I'm like, well, if that's the fucking case, why don't you go to no huddle more? Like, go to no huddle, get Najee in space, get this dumbass Chase Claypool. I'll get to his antics later in a situation where it could be a pass interference or a 50-50 ball, and you show it. And it's just like it just doesn't make sense. Our defense right now, I mean, I talked about it. We talked about it off air. Our defense right now looks like abysmal. Like it just doesn't look good. We're letting up. I think there was a stat. It was like Tomlin's first 200 plus games, he's allowed 0 100-yard rushers. In the last three, he's let two. One being a 200-yard performance by fucking Dalvin Cook and 130 by Mixon.
Yeah.
And then in fantasy wise, Freeman, who we played last
The
in the
last
Ravens
3 weeks.
game,
I don't think the Ravens had much of a running game against
they
you
didn't
guys.
have 100 yards, but Freeman was a top 10 back in fantasy because he scored and had some catches and all this stuff. Because our
Right.
linebackers, like I said, Devin Bush is not good right now. Schobert has not been the guy we traded for. We've our defensive line is decimated. Like Highsmith left with an injury, Watt left with an injury. They're supposed to play this week, but it's always like a game now where it's like, how long is Watt going to play in that game until it re-aggravates? And then I don't know about Highsmith. And then like our I think we're on our fifth defensive tackle with it. And Cam Hayward's been a stud, but I mean, you need some players on that defensive line to help. Hayden's been out, so I mean, like you saw Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins had some sort of accuracy. Justin Jefferson would have set a record for like 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like he was
Yeah.
wide open in a lot of
Yeah.
plays, and he missed them. And I was like, bro. And credit to the Steelers, they battled back. I mean, they didn't give up.
All
I mean,
those Jefferson owners are constantly paid by Kirk Cousins. If you own Justin Jefferson this season, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
exactly, and it's just weird, dude. Like, and then the whole Claypool pointing and doing all these things and not taking credit, like not taking accountability for it. It's just what I thought about Chase Claypool from the beginning. He's just an amazing talent with zero maturity, which it comes with the credit. And everybody's like, Juju's in his head. I was like, I mean, like, as much as you hate Juju for the TikToks and all these things, he's a team player. He's a hard worker. He would have never pointed at a first down after converting a fourth in those situations and not give the ball to the ref. Like, I 100% take that to the bank. Like, and it goes to show again, hard work beats out talent, because Deontay Johnson, who is the least talented out of all 3 of them, in my opinion, is our best wide receiver because he works hard, he does well. He gets into a route running, like, he reminds me of Hines Ward. He route runs so well that he's open. He's not fast. He's not quick. He's nothing. He's just open. Like, he just gets open, and that's what Ben looks for. Ben knows him. Pat, and everybody's like, Pat dropped it. I was like, no, you need to watch the play again. Pat had the ball, and Harrison Smith came in with a peanut punch that I like. If that, like, I don't know how else you can hold on to it. Like,
that's
he
fair.
Punched the shit out of him. Like,
That's just a veteran move too, baby.
Veteran move. So now the Steelers are in this like weird situation. Like last night, we'll get to the Thursday night football, but we needed Chargers to lose. They lost. We play the Titans, who are injured. We can beat them. And then like we end the season with the Chiefs, the Browns, and the Ravens. And it's kind of like in a situation where you need to go 4-0 because you don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll get into COVID as well. But like some of the teams in front of us have some hard matchups, like Colts play the Patriots. Browns are decimated with some COVID stuff. They play the Raiders. And who else is in front of us? Like the Bills play. I think the Bills play the. They play somebody
in
really
front
bad.
in front of the
Carolina.
Steelers right now, dude. You're gonna go ahead and you have got. Let's give me a second here. Okay. Obviously, you know, I'm going to name some obvious: the Chiefs, Patriots, Titans, Ravens, Chargers, Colts, Bills, Browns, Bengals, and Broncos are all ahead of you guys.
So you know what's funny? That tie with the Lions, if it ended up being a win, we would have jumped the Broncos because we beat them. We would have jumped the Browns because we beat them. The Buffalo Bills, we would have jumped. So we'd be in probably the 6th or 7th spot, and that's a playoff spot.
Hold on. Yeah, you'd be in that 7th spot for sure. And
no, sorry, we'd be in the 8th spot because the Bengals have 2 wins over us, so they'd be the 7th. We'd be the 8th. We'd be where the Browns are, and that's where it comes to. Like the tie, everybody's like, it could help, it couldn't help. I'm like, dude, no, it does not help us that we have a fucking tie. And I was like, this is going to be the reason. And guess what? We're going to go 2-2 in that schedule. We'll somehow be the 8th seed and miss the playoffs by the skin of our teeth because of that goddamn tie. And now it's all in on either Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson. That's what I want happen. But in reality, it's going to be, let's get a veteran like Marcus Mariota and then draft Kenny Pickett and use our money on some shit player, like guys who are good enough to play as a starter for our offensive line and our defensive line, and we'll save all this money for next time so we can rebuild. And that's just how it's gonna go, and I'm okay with it. Like I'm at a point now where this is what I have to be okay with now. Like this is not going to turn around anytime soon unless they do what I say, like go after those 2 quarterbacks and sign the actual good players. I don't know. Are the Steelers going to go all in next year? I don't know, but
history shows probably not. I mean, those would definitely both of them in the automatic Super Bowl conversation for next year without a doubt.
If they got Russell or Aaron Rodgers, they're automatically in Super Bowl conversations without a doubt. It's like people are like, if you add Rodgers to the Steelers, it's like Brady going to the Bucs, because the Steelers have everything on defense, even though their defense sucks right now. They're just hurt. They just need to get some good players back. and their offense is awesome. If they fix the offensive line, which if they get Aaron Rodgers, they would have to do. So I don't know. I don't know.
Let me ask you a question though. Do you
Yeah.
do you know if your quarterback who's playing on Sunday, do you know if he's graduated college?
What do you mean?
Has
Kenny
your
Pickett?
quarterback graduated college?
Talking about Kenny Pickett or Ben?
I'm talking about Ben Roethlisberger.
What do you mean graduated college? Oh, you mean like
Has he graduated college?
I would assume he did. Why? What are you talking about?
Okay, fantastic. Has he graduated high school?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful news. Has your quarterback graduated middle school?
Yes. What are you talking about right now?
Okay, fantastic. Because on Saturday, I'm going to our starting quarterback's middle school graduation, and then on Sunday he's going to start for the Washington football team, named to be term at a later date, but probably not. I understand
I was like,
also while he was in
this was going. I was like, what the fuck?
I understand while he was in 7th and 8th grade, he did a stint for the Browns in 7th grade and a stint for the Cowboys in 8th grade. I understand all of that. This man also has to learn roughly what would you say, Nude? Near 1,400 plays in 72 hours. So that should be fun. Actually, more like 48 hours, excuse me, as the Washington football team is named to be term at a later date, but probably not. Not only now have their backup quarterback, Kyle Allen, on the COVID reserve list, but as of about an hour ago, Taylor Heineke officially tested positive for COVID and will also not be playing on Sunday. So before I even get to the two games, the 2 weeks of the 1 week we were off and past week, yeah, Nude, we are fucked. I'd rather them drag Logan Thomas out. And all due respect to Garrett Gilbert, that is who's going to be playing on Sunday. In case you're waiting for the name there, Garrett Gilbert is who's going to be playing on Sunday, was on the Patriots practice squad until this morning. Yeah, I appreciate your apology. It looks like I would rather have Logan Thomas be dragged out there with his torn ACL than Garrett Gilbert play on Sunday. This looks absolutely miserable, and it's due, which we'll get into here after I wrap up my quick review of how the Washington football team to be term later. They've probably not played the last 2 weeks, but yeah, it's because of the lack of policy. We are now just fucked in the beehole. Again, it's a family show. I won't use any other language than that because we did look like we had some hope. Raiders, Taylor continued to fight to extend that streak to 4 wins. We looked great. Defense last 4 weeks, besides the game I'm going to mention here in a moment, looked absolutely incredible. Even in the second half of that game on Sunday, looked incredible. But I would say, and I think it's fair to state that I genuinely feel, and I know I go back and forth, all my Washington football team named to be term later date hardos already know I go back and forth all the time, Hunter, but I know you're on the same page with me, Mr. Lipsky, here, and that is our season's done. Our season is finished after this past Sunday. There is no arguing it. Taylor Heineke getting COVID was just the final nail in the coffin, as the terrible cliche goes. Cherry on your Sunday, pick your cliche. You can't start out a home game like that. I was at that game. I attended it. We were down 24-0 at half. I mean, again, valiant effort that second half. We then outscored them 20-3. Wasn't enough. I don't think it's talked about enough either how the Kyle Allen fumble was a forward pass. I was at the stadium. It was blatant as day. We didn't get that call overturned. And then we didn't even challenge, which nobody is talking about, Shanud, which is the Antonio Gibson fumble, which maybe it looked a little bit different being on the stadium versus TV. If you remember that, and that was after, it was about 3 possessions before the Cole Holcomb pick 6. It was before all that, but it was an Antonio. We were down 14 or 13 at the time. Antonio Gibson fumble. His knee and elbow were down, and that was blatant too, and nobody's talking about that. I thought that was clear as fucking day. So you can talk about missed opportunities all you want. You can talk about this, that, and the third, but the reality is you still went into that second half 24-0 and expected somehow to pull off the miracle, and you can't do that. I mean, the Steelers have learned their lesson from that as well. From the Vikings, you can't do that. It's not going to win seasons. You can talk about the COVID at all. You can talk about, the misplays as I just did, the missed opportunities there. But at the end of the day, the opportunities that were in our control, we didn't take advantage of, and that's why we are now. This team likely isn't going to make the playoffs. We likely aren't going to beat the Eagles Sunday. I'm an optimist. I'm a realist. I know I've gotten chanted a lot on this show for some of my takes, and for sometimes, going back and forth on it, but I just try to be as realistic with this team as possible, being hurt so often. It's the girl that you always go back to that you shouldn't, and she's hurt me yet again, dude.
Hey, it just sucks, man. Like I said, you guys are fighting for a playoff spot, and it sucks. I wish you guys were one of those teams that kind of sucked at the beginning, but found your groove, and then next thing you know, it's just boom, 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 and then this happens, and then the Cowboys game was closer than what people think. If there was no two turnovers that killed you. I mean, like Dak didn't play good. Like the offense didn't play good for them. It was their defense that pretty much did everything. And like you said, some calls didn't go your way, and I hate to say, you never want to blame the refs, but at the same time, it's like when you see those two calls, the fumble and the
if there's ever a game too.
Yeah, and it's just like, and you guys fought back, and that shows you, like with the Steelers, that's the same thing. It was like you like to see your team fight, even though they were down in the dumps, and you think it's over, and it's like it gives you hope for next game. And I mean, as much as I want to give you guys hope for next game, we'll just segue into this. I mean, like COVID is running rampant, like. And there's nothing to do about it. Like there's
but
three
the
teams.
season's going great. We haven't had to postpone any games. Roger Goodell looks fantastic. COVID who? COVID what? It doesn't exist.
Exactly. And Charles Barkley actually said it best. He's like, it was fine in the beginning, but now that we are done with and then people went home for Thanksgiving. People are home for the holidays. It is colder out. Like the situation is worse because like we're not taking the same precautions as last year, and we're going to visit all these people who probably don't do shit like that. Get vaccinated. I'm not making political. I'm just saying, not vaccinated, not wearing masks, not taking precautions 6 feet. The situation is definitely going to get worse, and you see it in those three teams. And I will admit, the Rams, the football team, and the Browns.
Speaking of not doing things that are in your control.
Exactly. And that's 20 plus players, Joey, for all three of you, 20 plus. And that's not mentioning the other teams that have 9 to 10 players or 5 or 6. Like Roger, like I understand it's going well.
We have 40% of our roster out, dude. We have 40% of our roster out due to COVID.
He said it. He's like, if a team is that bad with COVID, they can forfeit. And I'm like, dog, I understand it. I get it. Like if it's one person who fucked it all up for somebody, I get it. But this is a situation where it's an outbreak. Like you cannot let a team lose their playoff hopes because they just got COVID, like a COVID outbreak. That's 20 plus players for two. Like legit, the Rams are trying to win the division. They have a chance after beating the Cardinals. The football team, whether you like it or not,
we're both still in the hunt.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like the football team, if
right.
football team wins this week, football team wins this week, you guys still have a shot. No matter, I mean, like it's an outside shot to win the division, but you guys still have a shot to win the division. Like the Cowboys have, I think, 2 tough games coming up. One is the Cardinals, and the other one is escaping my mind. But you guys play them again, and you have Browns who can win our division because our division is such a dumpster fire. But they have a wild card spot. They actually have a 40% chance of making into the playoffs from last week's game after beating the Ravens. And I think it jumps up to like 60 or 70 if they beat the Raiders. And it just and this is like not competitive. This is not competitive integrity. I feel for these fans as much as I would love for the Browns to lose. I want them to lose in a fashion that is okay. Like this is not okay. Like if it's 2 players, fine, get it. 2 players got COVID, tough titties, or injured, or whatever. 20 plus, that is a fucking entire offense and half a defense, dude. And literally, for all 3 of these teams, the Rams are playing just with Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp. You guys are just playing with fucking Who is it? Landon Collins and fucking Antonio
McLaurin,
Gibson.
it maybe McLaurin, maybe Gibson.
McLaurin? No, McLaurin's hurt too. McLaurin's out. Like,
He
dude,
might play. He might play. He might not. It's up in the air.
dude.
But
And then the
let me tell
I
you real
don't know.
quick, New. This is in response to all of that. This is what the league decided to do. In response to all of that, this is how the league responded. Again, with two teams, as you mentioned, having about 40% of their roster out, and then the Rams having roughly, by the numbers, about 15% of their roster out. So let's go ahead. Let's do this here. Their new updated COVID policy. Thanks, Roger Goodell.
Stupid. So
Mask
stupid.
regardless of vaccination status,
Oh my
remote
god.
or outdoor meetings, no in-person meals, no outside visitors on team travel, strongly encouraging boosters, adjusted return requirements for returning after COVID-19. Do you feel safer? Do you feel like the Steelers might not have 50% of their roster out by week 16?
Oh, dude, I 100%. I'm going to the game. I'm going to game with Kareem this week for the Titans against the Steelers.
Oh, let's go. Oh, yeah, send some pigs, man. I'm gonna need that.
I will send you some, but win, lose, or draw.
Send me something in writing. His QB is just an average plug and play.
Oh my god!
Special thinker as B.
Hold on, stop. If we're gonna give you guys a pass, with people out, you can give them a pass. Everyone's out, but
they're more of the classic injury bug though.
There is more as a classic injury bug, but. In win, lose, or draw this weekend, I kind of just hope everybody just comes out alive. Like, and I hate to say it like that, it's kind of situation where
laugh, but it's kind of true, and that's why
I'm like somehow like Najee's gonna get COVID or Cam Hayward's gonna get COVID, and because we already had Ben Roethlisberger, Minka, and TJ have it, and I'm just like, man, like I hope nobody else gets it. Like, what the fuck? And I was just like. And that's kind of where I am again. Like it was like last year. It's like I hope everybody who's good doesn't get COVID. Like if somebody who's like a backup, yeah, that's bad. But I hope it doesn't spread. Like it's just it's so asinine. That's where my head is when we're trying to make the fucking playoffs. But now looking at what they're doing to you guys, the Browns and the Rams, I'm like, I just hope we don't have an outbreak because then we'll have to play like Mason Rudolph and Benny Snell and fucking who knows on defense. I mean, right now we're playing players that I have even we signed off the street, Carl Joseph and fucking like Martavius Davis. Like I've never heard these fucking guys.
The classic cashier montage. I mean, yeah, I just don't really see it not stopping the spread, especially whatever this new policy is. Again, I said off air, it's just covering up the shit with nicer smelling shit. That's all the league's really doing.
No, it's just them.
The dominoes have already fallen, and they're going to continue to fall.
They knew this week was a perfect week to do Saturday games because of all the bowl games with college football. So it's like, oh, like they're all basically playing on Friday. Let's have 2 Saturday games, but we're not going to move them because we're too hard headed. And it's just like, you guys are a bunch of bitches, dude. Like, fuck off. And then like, I don't know. If we keep going on this topic, I'm going to go for hours. So let's just move on.
So let me go ahead and go. Speaking of hard headed, classic new transition. Speaking of hard headed.
Hold on. I got a special one for this one.
Okay, go ahead.
Goodbye. Farewell, Avitas, and goodbye.
Hey!
Fuck you,
I do. Fuck you and you and you. Look at you. You know a Sound of Music reference? Everybody stop what they're doing in their day. Everybody just stop.
Listen.
Pull over the car. Pull over the car and just clap for Nude that he knows what Sound of Music is. I am so fucking proud of you.
I know Sound of Music. I mean, it's not like, that's a classic bit. Hold on. Ready?
Breaking news. Hit us with a nude bomb. Nude bomb.
Longwald. I see the responses to what's happening with the Browns and the Washington football team, but the NFL pretty much set the bar for you are going to play no matter what on November 29th. Broncos played Saints on a 26-hour notice, played and pulled off practice field on Saturday without a quarterback in uniform. So there you go.
Yeah, so that basically says how the NFL feels about everything going on.
And then the next tweet somebody put up, it's like, don't forget the Ravens had 22 players out before they played the Steelers, and they got until Wednesday to play. Like, what? Like, give me a break. Anyways, continue. Again,
you know who Julie Andrews is, by the way? Quick, I'm going back to the Sound of Music. Even I just kind of gave it away. Do you know who Julie Andrews is? Obviously.
Oh, of course. Come on. Queen.
A legend, great movie. Also, shout out Wizard of
Queen.
Oz, Dorothy, all that. But not going to be legend in his, at least in the NFL nude. Urban Meyer, can Alfida saying goodbye. Is this all a media setup? Is it a combination of the media kind of throwing fire at him and him setting fire to himself? I mean, it is a traditional, as cliches are kind of the motto of the show so far, a cliche Jag started 2-11. How are you feeling? What you think of Nude?
What, with Urban Meyer?
Yeah, was it a media sabotage? Was it a
No.
combination of media
Okay.
sabotage
Here's what
and
I'm
self
saying.
sabotage?
What I'm saying. So Urban Meyer from the beginning, I even said, I was like, dude, like you guys could have gotten a better coach, whatever. You guys basically are doing a media stunt, getting Urban Meyers with Trevor Lawrence, sell tickets. One of the better college football players of all time. And so then it comes out with all these different things with the Josh Lambo thing, with him kicking him, and Josh Lambo's like, "What the fuck?" Marvin Jones Jr.
Yeah.
Getting in a fight with him, being one of the calmest players in the NFL. He played for the Bengals when they sucked, the Lions when they sucked. Never heard of anything.
Quick side note for the non-YouTube watchers and just people listening on the pod. I don't know if Nude has cue cards up today or something, but he keeps looking to the. I guess from my view, it'd be the left of his screen, but to him, it's the right.
Bowl season, baby. Bowl season starting. Toledo and who's playing?
It doesn't play not for 4 more minutes, bro. Not for 4 more minutes. I know the schedule. Don't fuck with me.
Hey, relax. Man wants to just see some bets, bro. Middle Tennessee. That's who they're playing.
But obviously, you have Toledo covering that all day, right?
Come on, baby. Toledo minus 10.5 over. Do it.
Oh, you swinging with the over too? All right.
50. Maction, baby. You gotta go with the Maction boys. If
Always gotta go Maction and over on the Maction for a live look at Nude side bets.
Anyways, but no, and I just go. The only people who came to his defense were like his family, and then like some players like Tim Tebow and all this shit. But dude, he's just a scumbag. Like even if he was that good of a coach or good to his players, the dude fingered some girl in a fucking bar in Ohio. Like he's just an idiot. He's just he's just not a good coach, and it just proves that his rosters at Florida and Ohio State were just so good that he couldn't really fuck it up. So it's like I don't know. I believe that the Jaguars did what they had to do. I'm glad they fired him, but I just it could have been all avoidable if Sean Khan just looked at it and said, "Hey, maybe we need an NFL fucking coach and not a dude from like who's been out of football for 2 years." So.
Hey, man, and don't throw shade on the former WWF champion of the world. I'd really appreciate if you put a little respect on Shah Khan's name. But it's definitely not a great move by him at all. I don't think Urban Meyer was ready for this. It did seem like he was kind of set up to fail from the jump. Does he survive his career, go back to some fringe college, turn that college around? Most likely, I think that's what's going to happen. We'll see where he lands. Newt, any predict is his career done? Is he going back to college?
Career is done unless he pulls the Louisville basketball coach. Help me out. Fucking what's his name? Rick Pitino. Thank you. He does like Rick Pitino went to Greece and came back is coaching like Iona.
And yes, Iona, and they made the tournament last year and almost pulled off the upset, but didn't.
So he needs to go to Canada, coach for a little bit, probably come back and coach like Central Michigan or some shit, and then goes back into if he wants to keep coaching. But I think
the Old Dominion Monarchs are definitely willing to sit down.
Akron football, dude. Would do it. Be an
assistant. He's not going back to Ohio. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
You fucking crazy. But Nude, let's talk about, I would say, in my opinion, one of my favorite games of the year last night. Sit on the edge of your seat. All the Chargers riders, which I know me and Nude were both two of plenty.
A different opinion.
Went ahead and did not cover. Some got it at 4.5. Some got it at 3.5. It doesn't matter. They didn't cover any of that. Listen, on my edge of my seat, it looks like the Chiefs are back to doing what the Chiefs do. I'm going to talk a little bit about it with the game, the Raiders-Chiefs game last week, and to kind of settle that off a little bit. It doesn't look like people are stepping up, especially those in their divisions, like the Raiders are stepping up, and Chargers are stepping up and ready to stomp on their throat and to go ahead and hit the guillotine with the king. The king's got a steel neck. You can come for the neck, but you're not going to go ahead and detach that neck. Chiefs are still looking strong, dude. Travis Kelce is still looking like Travis Kelce. For anyone that has Travis Kelce in the quarterfinals right now, your dick grew 19 inches last night. I normally say 2 inches. It grew 19 last night. Anybody that was facing Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, you go ahead, pack it up. You're likely not moving to the semifinals. Dude, how'd you like this game? What do you feel like it was one of the games of the year? How are you feeling about this one? Did
So
your dick
I'm
go
just
19
gonna.
inches? Did you have trap?
I look like Chris Pratt trying to handle the 3 Raptors because I went either against one or a combination of those 3: Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and Kelce. Literally, I could not believe my fucking eyes. I was like, they're holding all 3 of them pretty well. They're not doing anything, and then shit started to hit the fan. I have Justin Herbert in a bunch of my leagues. He did great. He had 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, which wasn't his fault, and a couple 200 and then like 200 yards and something like that. Could have had more touchdowns if people learned how to fucking catch a football, Jared Cook. But
hey, don't throw straight on Jared. You know he's got you some fancy dubs too. He's got you some fancy dubs as well.
Walk-in touchdown would have kept my fantasy alive. So now I have to rely on a lot of different things to even stay alive in those.
I do need you and desperately want you to beat Jeff, who sits silent in the corner.
Dude, there's no way I'm beating
Brief
Jeff.
side note that we go ahead.
Did you not see what I have? Like, by the way, Joey,
it doesn't look great. I did.
I can believe I made the playoffs. So badly. I cannot. This donkey of a team that I fucking have made the playoffs. Like, these guys are donkeys. Like, I have Russell Wilson, donkey. Miles Sanders, donkey. Gordon, okay. Devontae Adams, only thing surviving. DJ Moore, donkey, twice. Darnell Mooney, donkey number 3. Like, and then you have Darren Waller, who's always hurt. Like, it's just whatever. I can't believe I made it. I'm glad I made it in that league. Whatever. Sorry, Joey, for your loss. But
can we just talk about that too? 1-6 start, then went and won.
You pushed it to the limit.
1-6 straight. If I would have put Rashad Penny in, I'm in the playoffs. The guy who got the bye wouldn't be even in the playoffs,
which is wild. Which is wild to think. Well,
and that's also why you made in that league, because of how tight that division was. Then my division, I had the top 2 guys. So I was pretty much fucked from the get-go.
You have a guy who's undefeated, which is insane, and Jeff, who is 11-3. Like there was no way. And then like the third was 9-5, and you were 7-7. In my division, it was 8-6, 8-6. Me at 7-7. So it's like, what the any of those 3 play any of those.
And if I was in your division, I would have won. Even if I lost to Chop, I would have been in the playoffs instead of you, because who beat you in week 12? Good old.
It doesn't go by that. You know what's funny? It doesn't go by that. It goes by points, which you would have had to still outscore me by 21.
NFL Fantasy League app goes head to head. ESPN goes by points.
Yes. So, anyways, back to the game.
Yeah.
Other than fantasy. So apparently, like, you left 12 points on the fucking game. Staley, like, I just don't understand. Yes, they said because a lot of people were injured, like Derwin James. That's why Kelce went off, because Derwin James was injured. Shocker. And that's why they put like Tranquil on him, who's the linebacker, which still doesn't make sense to me. But you left 12 points on the fucking field with field goals. Yes, you should score some touchdowns to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. 100% agree. You do it like maybe once, and it doesn't work. You should do it. You shouldn't do it again. And it's just like, I understand you have this guy you have Justin Herbert, who's pretty good, but the other guy is fucking Patrick Mahomes. Like, have some trust in your defense just a little bit to have 12 points, or at least score one of those. Like, one of those red zones could have been a field goal, and you won. You won the game, but you didn't. Yep. And it's just like, to say the Chiefs are back. I mean, I don't know. Like, they kind of got off the hook last night, and it's just like, I mean,
that's a good point.
It just doesn't make sense.
There was plenty of missed opportunities on the Chargers' part. There's no doubt about that. Huge. I mean, it goes back to my same with my argument with my football team of kind of taking advantage of when the moment clearly shows you can take advantage, even if it's just 3 points. I mean, it was incredibly frustrating, especially if you were an over better, especially, which it did eventually hit, but especially if you were an over better, especially if you had the Chargers, especially if you had, you name it, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Eckler, Herbert going. It was incredibly frustrating to see it. I say, and I state the Chiefs are back because the three triangle, the three-headed beast is back. I think in that sense. Now, yes, this game was a little bit handed to them, but I think going forward, you see that Chiefs, the kind of the flash of the Chiefs that we got on the Raiders game last week in Week 14. And dude, let's just go ahead and let's dive right into that for Week 14. Surprise, disappointments, and games of the week. So I've already alluded to it. I actually have the Raiders and the Chiefs as my surprise, so we'll tie right into it. Because, I mean, reason being, I was absolutely shocked. Kind of what you're alluding to. Are the Chiefs who we thought they always are? Did they just get a break last week? But then they go ahead and they do what they did to the Raiders, and they won 48-9. In what's looked like a fully functioning Super Saiyan Level 3, shout out Shonen Tape, Super Saiyan Level 3 Chiefs Andy Reid offense. And it looked absolutely insane. And granted, the Raiders defense has looked like we are out there in tutus drinking Hennessy the whole entire game for the last couple of weeks. That is what it is. But I expected the Raiders to do what they always do. I expected what all the Chiefs interdivision rivals always do against the Chiefs, and that's give them a fucking game.
Always.
I was genuinely surprised, and I had this as my surprise due to that fact. I didn't make it my disappointment for reasons I will get to when I come up with my disappointment here in a little bit. But again, I mean, it was surprised to see the just absolutely shellacking, absolutely embarrassment, absolutely, excuse my language here, but raping and pillaging of what was a football team in the Las Vegas Raiders, just absolutely decimated. And that's why I kind of go, I'm surprised here, but are Chiefs back in full form?
Yeah, I mean, Chiefs, right? Chiefs, again, I don't know if they have proven anything, but right now they just look like the team that's just is getting off the hook a little too much. I mean, the Raiders and the Chargers are really giving it to them. But what can we say? Chiefs decimated the Vegas Raiders, but starting this week, I don't know, man. I really just don't know. You know what I mean? They're just not convincing enough for me. So we'll see. But they're definitely in the league for the AFC. So for me, my surprise, it's going to come as a surprise.
Is it them just cleaning up, covering up nicer shit with their smellier shit with nicer shit? We'll see.
Exactly.
It's certainly an MO of the league, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs.
Yeah. So my surprise of the week is actually pretty weird, but I Saints versus Jets. I mean, the reason why I'm saying this is a surprise is just Saints decimated them, and Saints are not that good. So
and Zach Wilson was playing, so I'm surprised Zach Wilson didn't set a touchdown record. Or
Zach Wilson didn't do well. I mean, I know he's lost a lot of weapons. Michael Carter's not there. I think Tevin Coleman didn't play. Elijah Moore is out for the season, basically. Corey Davis, but I mean, I feel bad for Robert Saleh. I think he's a good coach. It's just he's in a bad way right now. And the reason why
I hope he gets a chance to let what he's doing there grow.
Correct.
Because you can see shades of what made him successful on the 49ers and shades of what we all believe in and know will make him successful as a head coach.
Exactly. And again, like, this is more on the Saints being good. Like, the Saints defense is still pretty good. That's why I'm kind of excited to see a little bit of what's it called? Them against the Buccaneers, because they usually play the Buccaneers hard. So
yeah, I think that would be a good game for damn sure. I mean, don't forget this is still a team that shellacked Packers week 1. We don't know what they all are. I think with Taysom, Taysom. Hey, let's not forget, what is Taysom now at this point now? I believe, as a starter for the Saints, and I'm going to have to look this up. I didn't look this up prior to the show. I believe he is 6-2 as a starter. Correct me on that.
Yeah.
With the New Orleans Saints, he's 6-2. if we had a show last week, he was my QB picked up. He was my QB picked up the week before that. I think what he's doing right now is giving the Saints offense a little bit of life. And the defense is still fucking fantastic, led by Marshawn Lattimore. And it's a defense that's definitely a fucking threat. And they're on the outskirts. The Saints are still in the hunt too. They can shock the world. I'm not entirely surprised, except for the mere fact that Zach Wilson was back and starting, and I thought it was going to be a little bit more of a ball game. I genuinely do, as Zach has shown shades now at this point of he can be what I genuinely think he can be.
Exactly.
But Nude, speaking of Solomon and his whole crew, my disappointment this week was the 49ers and the Bengals. Reason being, I mean, a couple things. Number one, I just expected, and it's kind of the similar reasoning to what my surprise was, Nude, and I just really expected the Bengals to come away with this one. I didn't expect the 49ers to continue up the fight. I understand they're hot right now. I understand the Shanahan magic is starting to find its groove in that running game. Elijah Mitchell is one of those, speaking of another rookie running back. Elijah Mitchell is what we thought he was going to be. That Shanahan running back continues to serve him strong. But I think again, and this is no disrespect towards you whatsoever, but with the AFC North being as hot as it is, and at least as tight as it is in terms of getting that division right now, I just really expected the powers that be. Jamar Chase, I would argue, even though he had 2 touchdowns, was one of his most droppy games of the season. T. Higgins had one of his best games of the season. Joe Mixon played out, but again, this team just didn't capitalize where they needed to, and I was just a little bit disappointed overall in that, especially in a team that I genuinely thought, and still do, as you mentioned earlier in the show, have a chance to win the AFC North. I expected them to win this one when they really needed it.
In my opinion, this division is whoever stays the healthiest. Like, at this point, like, nobody gives a shit. Like, all 4 of us suck, and we just all need to come to grips with it. Like, the Bengals are still a few players away from being good. Ravens, I don't know. We are in whatever state we're in, and the Browns are the Browns. So it's like, I mean, this could have been the game of the week. I can see why you put it as the disappointment. It's unfathomable what's happening. Like I said, this was one of the best divisions in football, but this year they're definitely not looking like it.
I mean, it's like they got 2 of the most dangerous teams in the fourth quarter in the whole entire league, in the Ravens and the Steelers. But besides that, then it looks like, let's be honest, if we ran a team and we're calling plays out there, sorry, we're not head coaches, we're not professionals like that. I think we can be honest with ourselves. It looks around the same the first 3 quarters. And then the Bengals, again, I mean, so I know it's a family show, sorry for my crass language, but they continue to blue ball themselves again and again. No, they're edging. They are literally edging, dude, where they are getting right up to that point and stopping because they can't close.
Yeah, I mean, that's just how it is. That's the AFC North. That's what we got to live with this nowadays. So my disappointment is actually a different one because one that I put in.
Blue balled you, baby. Tell Daddy who blue balled you.
So I will go with another AFC North.
Just ignore that. Just power through.
Yeah, I'm just ignoring your disgustingness. So actually, my disappointment is going to go to a team, the Ravens and the Browns. So why is this a disappointment? Because the Browns had them on the ropes. Lamar's hurt, and I'm not saying get well, Lamar, because I don't wish anybody to get hurt. I don't wish anybody to get COVID. We want to beat teams.
Again, for YouTube video, non-YouTube viewers or listeners rather, he was closing his eyes and trying to visualize and put this on the map and the surface.
I'm trying to be nice. I am trying to be nice. I'm closing my eyes because I don't want to come off as rude. The Browns could have won that game.
Control yourself, finding your inner peace, looking thin.
Yeah. But the Browns had the Ravens on the ropes. They could have put the nail in the coffin, but they did it. And they let the Ravens come back in with Huntley. And then all of a sudden they do this onside kick. The Ravens did. They get the ball back. They have a chance. And then Myles Garrett becomes Myles Garrett. Front runner for Defensive Player of the Year. Sorry, TJ, you got to stay healthy to win that award. But it's just it's
can we argue Diggs is out of the conversation at this point?
Huh?
Can we go ahead and say Diggs is out of the conversation? My midseason guy.
Yeah, it's between 3 guys. Actually, it's funny. I think it's between Watt, Garrett, and his teammate actually Parsons. Parsons is definitely in for Defensive Player of the Year. He won't win it, but like as
He'll
a
definitely
rookie,
get
he
rookie.
should be. He'll definitely get rookie. He'll definitely get some first place votes. I know there's like 2 or 3 guys that might give him votes, but it's honestly ridiculous that again, like to your point, like AFC North football, these guys do not know how to close people out. They come out in the fourth quarter, whether they're down. If they're down, they're gonna come with full force, and then the other team is gonna suck. If you're winning in the fourth quarter, you're gonna bring the team back in. It's just asinine, and it's just again, it disappoints me because like this is our division. Like last year, our division was tough, where there was like the Bengals, even though they sucked, they had a couple of wins against some good teams. We were undefeated, even though we were frauds. The Ravens did what they had to do. The Browns did what they had to do. It's a step backwards, and I don't like what this division has become this year. And hopefully next year it's better. It's better. That's all I could say. So
Yeah, and I almost made the next game here my disappointment of the week, Nude, but I decided to go ahead and make it my game of the week. Reason being, this is probably the last life that we'll really see out of the Rams. I think they are pretty suspect from COVID. I think they maybe win a playoff game, but I think that first half magical Rams team is kind of gone after this week. I understand they won, and this is their last great hurrah, and that's why I put it as my game of the week, because the Cardinals were almost my disappointment of the week. They should have been. Kyler looked lost out there. He just did. I mean, he was running for his life the whole entire game. He didn't. I mean, he didn't really execute in the way that he normally does. Obviously, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. It just, he didn't look like himself. I'm going to go ahead. Everyone can get a fluke game. Everybody gets a mistake game. It is the league. But I more chose this as my game of the week because I just loved, one, the running game was James Conner. Your boys had a decent day.
No, I'm happy for him. I honestly, James Conner is one of those Steelers players, like him and Bud Dupree and all those guys. I'm happy for like that they're doing good. It's like AB, go fuck yourself. Le'Veon, go fuck yourself. With those guys who left gracefully and they gave us their all and they wanted to stay, but we couldn't keep them. I'm glad James Conner is finding success. Honestly.
Yeah, and this was a game where I thought the Cardinals are still going to do the Cardinals kind of thing and pull out, a victory out of their ass like they always do. They didn't do it. It had you on your edge of the seat the whole time. How are they going to still pull this game out with Kyler playing the way Kyler is? And that ultimately was the factor for me. Rams got the passing game going, but it had me on the edge of the seat my whole time.
Yeah, and I agree. Like it was great, and I'm happy you picked this game because it was kind of my game of the week, but not really because there was another game of the week that caught my eye. The Bills and the Bucks. Everybody's probably a lot of people's preseason Super Bowl pick. Like this was a Super Bowl preview, and it didn't disappoint. It did not disappoint. It was Brady against Josh Allen. Josh Allen did as much as he could to keep the Bills alive. Brady doing Brady-esque things. It went to overtime.
With Gronky. Shout out Gronky.
Gronk doing good. Godwin doing good. Godwin scoring. But it turned out to be Brady to Brashard Perryman out of all players to win the game. Like, it's crazy. Like, this game had everything. It had great scoring. It had some great defensive plays. Both quarterbacks looked like what we think they can be. They are. Like, Brady is still a great quarterback, still the best. Josh Allen is still an up-and-comer. And Josh Allen, I feel so bad for him because he has to rush the ball to even make that run game effective. He had 100-plus rushing yards while his running backs didn't even touch, I think, 70. And it's like, get this man a running back.
109 rushing yards, 12 attempts. Hey, listen, you got to give Devin Singletary the ball a little bit more. I think that's all.
I don't know, man. It's just they don't get pushed. Like it's like the Steelers. Like, like
4 rushes,
their offensive
52
line
yards, averaging 13 yards a carry for Devin Singletary.
Yeah,
Give the ball to Devin Singletary more. I don't understand. This guy's a good back. This guy's an effective back. He's a bruiser. He's a little bit of an old school style back, but he's still an effective back. You can't just have that guy only carry the ball 4 times the whole entire game.
No, and it's just I guess the game plan. Like, I mean, you think about it, the weakness of the Bucks. Like every good team has a weakness, and the weakness for the Bucks is their secondary, and that's what they were trying to manipulate, which they did, pass all over them, and that's why I kind of want to see what happens. So.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'll go ahead and quickly address this game. I mean, one, it was Tom Brady, like you said, being Tom Brady, touchdown Tommy being touchdown Tommy, getting the game done when he's game done. But again, I argue, especially in that first half, if you didn't just rely on Josh Allen to get your run game going, which has honestly been the Achilles of the Bills all season, you probably win this game. You probably beat the Bucs, who, let's be honest, have been exposed at certain games to be shown to be beatable. Washington football team to be determined at a later date is my prime biased example for sure. But there's definitely other games where this team shows their weaknesses, and it's if you take advantage of those weaknesses or not. Bills did not. One of the weaknesses that I think you can take advantage with this Bucks defense is that rushing game.
Yep.
Yes, you can go ahead and
Mm-hmm.
say that D line has their moments, and they do have people that'll scare the hell out of you and bash some ribs and ruin your
No,
day. But
no,
also
no,
at the
no.
same time, they're susceptible to push. Antonio Gibson had one of his best games of the season against that Buccaneers rushing attack. So I,
Right.
I just don't understand why the Bills. I mean, 54 passing attempts for Josh Allen is not cool in any game, in my opinion. It's just this isn't
Exactly.
college fucking football. This isn't fucking Maction. Shout out to Maction mentioned earlier.
Max it. Max it.
It doesn't make any sense to me of where they went in some of the decisions, and a lot of the decisions honestly the Bills have made this year doesn't really make sense if you want to get to where everybody expected you to get to at the beginning of the season.
Exactly. And that's where it is. But let's go in. This is the fantasy football corner now. We are
Fantasy
in the
football corner.
we are in the playoffs. I know we're behind on waivers because it's Friday. And you also might have been like me, and you faced off the three juggernauts that are the Kansas City Chiefs, Kelsey Hill and Mahomes, and you might not have a chance. But you know what? It's not over until the fat lady sings. Your person's team could get fucked. So let's give you some players that could help you out. At
Before we do
quarterback,
that, any playoff advice? Is there anything we want people to know going in? It's now real. It's all on the table. In just a matter of
honestly,
weeks, you can be claiming that prize.
do not this is what I would say. Do not overthink some
Yep.
players. Like you have players that got you there, and I know people are like, "What about matchups? What about this? What about that?" Good players are good players. You play them. Don't think twice. Yes, there is situations where like Sony Michelle might be carrying the load, where Daryl
Rashad
Henderson is
Penny.
out. Rashard Penny. Like if you have to play those guys because you're decimated with injuries and COVID, that's different. But don't play them over like
Don't put in
Antonio
Rashad Penny
Gibson.
over Aaron Jones just because Rashad
Exactly.
had a good week last week. To go
Exactly.
ahead and do what's gotten you here, what's entrusted you into
Be
the
smart.
playoffs.
That's it. And have fun. You got to the playoffs. That's a big accomplishment. Like this is a luck based kind of game. Like you enjoy what you can enjoy, and then that's it. I mean, then let the gods decide. That's all I can say. So, as much as you want to overthink things, as much as you think you're an expert, don't overthink things. Don't put yourself in a bad spot because at the end of the day, yes, you play Devontae Adams no matter what, but Devontae Adams could get you 5 catches for 50 yards. It's happened before. So that's what that's what happens. So,
At
like I
this
said,
point, it's time to trust what you've built. It's time to trust
exactly,
what you've built. There's no reason to go ahead and take Matt Stafford out because you think that Zach Wilson's all of a sudden going to have a hell of a week.
exactly. And then there's situations like last night. Like I said, you could have been playing Mahomes, Hill, and Kelsey, and it's already over. So, but again, Fat Lady didn't sing. So, quarterback, I am picking up the man who is known as a switchblade, Taysom Hill. He has done great. 20 points the last 2 games. The
Yep.
Buccaneers have given up some points, and the Buccaneers do sometimes struggle with the Saints. I don't know why, but it's just a division thing. At running back, Jeff Wilson, a lot of people had dropped him. Go pick him up again because it is not clear that Eli Mitchell is going to play. He's still in concussion protocol. He might be out for a long, long time. So Jeff Mitchell has a great matchup against the Atlanta Falcons. So play him. Wide receiver, I'm going with Gabriel Davis. Emmanuel Sanders might be out. They are playing against the Carolina
Hold on, I gotta
Panthers, who
stop you.
have
You said I just had to check here. You said Jeff Mitchell's playing for the 49ers on Sunday.
did I say
You
Jeff
did say Jeff
Wilson?
Mitchell. Jeff
Whoops.
Wilson Jr., yeah.
Shout out Jeff Mitchell.
Hey, let's go, Jeff. Who's his side in the corner suiting up on Sunday? Let's
A
go.
wide receiver, Gabriel Davis. You play him against the Carolina Panthers. It should be a good one. A tight end. I am going with Gerald Everett. This is now tight end. If you don't have Kittle, Kelsey, or Andrews, you are throwing darts anyway. So Lockett's out. Who knows? Maybe Everett will get some passes. And then defense, I am going with the 49ers against the Atlanta Falcons. Matt Ryan's prone to throw the ball to some defenders. So there you go.
And real quick, Newt, I want to do a take 2 on this because I didn't like my first take.
Yeah.
Week 14, Fantasy Corner. I also
There
just
you go.
realized, totally missed when we were at the Four Corners studio still, the opportunity to, because we have the gambling corner. We have the fantasy football corner. We should have added 2 more corners, and it just would have been a great double entendre, a hat on a hat. Who doesn't love a good hat on a hat?
Hat on hat,
But
baby.
But if you want to buy all those hats, you can. If you want to buy a hat and then put the hat on that hat once you win it at your fantasy league, as always, let me take you through this guide, and actually give you some numbers and some possibilities of how you can work your team, unlike just kind of leading you blindly through the forest. So, not that I'm saying anybody does that, and as always, I'm not throwing anybody under the bus whatsoever. I'm just simply pointing things out. With that being said, I had
He
Tua
just throws shade.
Tagovailoa.
You just throw shade when you want to, and he's just like, nah.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but my QB you should pick up in fantasy because Taysom Hill is owned by 57.4% in most ESPN leagues. Again, not throwing shade at anybody, not throwing anybody under the bus, but Tua Tagovailoa is owned by 30%, 30% of 8 rostered in ESPN leagues. I think there's still a good chance you can pick him up as a streaming option. If you have one of those hurt QBs, if you thought, hey, Taylor Heineke's been balling out, and you need somebody else. He has been doing around that 15 to 20 range, which you want in your QB, and Tua has been doing what needs to get done. RB, obviously, and I put this in my notes, Rashad Penny, obviously, he was also in my pickup last week, but we didn't have a show last week, so can't entirely prove that. He's actually still only owned by 8.9% of teams in ESPN leagues. And then, if not at that point, let's go Royce Freeman or Craig Reynolds, 2 guys that are coming in, kind of stepping up for their teams, both under less 1% owned in the league. Both guys that, if you are battling with that injury situation, if you are one of your guys that has COVID, one of the many players that has COVID, these guys are going to probably get you that desperation touchdown to at least keep you in your playoff battle. Wide receiver, Amon St. Brown, once again. 10.9% owned still in the league. He has been snapping. He is the only guy that Jared Goff wants to throw to at this point. Only guy he feels comfortable throwing to. Go get him on St. Brown. He actually also would have gotten me into the playoffs in our league last year, not just if I started Rashad Penny, but also if I started Amon St. Brown, as I only lost by 6 points. Next up, Nude, please forgive me. Listeners, please forgive me. I'm totally going to butcher this name.
Say
The guy who did get a touchdown last week, and you should go pick him up immediately. Albert Okwinigi Boomanam. I hope I'm not canceled. I'm not going to try it again.
it was close. I think
This
you were
guy
close.
it is slowly but surely working his way into his offense.
You were close, dude.
More and more every single week. Got a tuggy last week. I think he is a guy that will be targeting the red zone going forward. He is one of those stretch players that you see pick up a couple tugs. One of those guys that you wish could have ran you into your championship. And then finally, this is just a no-brainer. Hey, Jags just went ahead and lost Urban Meyer. I think they're going to bounce back from that. I think it's a whole new Jags you see. I think, speaking of going Super Saiyan, I think the Jags defense will go Super Saiyan against the Houston Texans. 2.7% owned in the ESPN leagues.
Honestly, because we got to we're running along on time just real quickly. That was actually one of the defenses I was going to start until I saw the Eagles defense was going against Garrett Gilbert. Sorry. I know you're playing the Tennessee Titans probably too, which is fine because we suck. So anyways.
Yep. Playing them in 3 different leagues as we discussed. So,
Yep. All right. So we hate each other. Anyways.
Yep. No one's ever liked you. You pay me to do this podcast because you say no one else is willing to do it. And yeah, it's insufferable, but we trek on, don't we?
Hey man. Go ahead.
This is a joy of my week every single week. You know that. Love you, Nude. 2 years going now. And 2 years is a staple of our podcast, the segment that started it all. That is, of course, the Gambling Corner. Week 15. Pay off your mortgage. Pay off your bills. Buy a new boat. First,
you know what I'm about to ask you, right?
But hit me with it. Go ahead anyway. Hit me with it.
You have no idea what our records are.
Of course. Now here. No,
just go ahead.
I just want that people asking you now about it.
I know. I just wanted. I was my own I guess my own wherewithal. Like, where are we? But go ahead.
Week 1, undefeated with Newton Jones on the same page. Never forget. Week 1, I do know.
Never forget. We'll put a parlay out there. There you go.
We should put a parlay. All Nude and Joe's on the same pages will be parlayed out there on our Instagram this week. But let's get it started. First game Saturday, 4:30. We finally got a lot love when week 15, 16, 17, and now I guess 18 come around. Well, week 15, 16, 17, you have the Saturday games. You have bowl games going on. Go get yourself a new TV. You're going to need it. First game up of the weekend. Las Vegas Raiders going to shitty Cleveland to see the shitty Browns. Browns are plus 3.5. Over under is 38. Nude. God damn. I will repeat that again. Over under is 38. Nude. Again, I'll repeat that one more time. Over under is 38.
over, and the Raiders.
You think this is a fucking Navy Army game? Their over last week was 34, so it's pretty damn close.
Oh yeah, but they don't run the triple option, so I'm going with the Raiders. Raiders will score a couple times, so I'm gonna go the over.
I am Nude and Joe on the same page. That's the first part of our parlay. Moving right along, New England Patriots going to see the Indianapolis Colts. Patriots are not favorites. The Colts have been hot themselves. Minus 2.5. The Colts are at home. Over under 46.5. Nude, who you like, who you love.
That's kind of crazy. Fuck. That is a hard one to pick. I am gonna go the Patriots because they're coming off of the bye, and I'm gonna go under because I think it's gonna be a defensive game. So
almost the second Nude and Joe on the same page. This is not my dog of the week, but it's definitely gonna be in my personal dog parlay. I don't know how the Patriots are dogs in this. Again, I get Colts. I think have won. They're 6-2 in their last 8 games or something along those lines. They've definitely bounced back and one of the hotter teams of the season. But Patriots off bye, Bill Belichick off the bye is a scary, scary thing. I cannot not take the Patriots money line. I'm going to go over here. I actually think it's going to be a shootout more than people expect. Next up, I am not picking this game. First game of Sunday. That is, of course, even though the curse is now broken, the powers have been depleted at this point, Nude. We no longer have the power of not picking the game. I'm still holy fucking shit, and I'll tell you this line with the news of Garrett Gilbert starting. But the Washington football team, named to be determined a later date, but probably not, is going in to Philly, where they are seeing the Philadelphia Eagles minus 12.5. The Philadelphia Eagles are obviously that is with the Garrett Gilbert news. Over under here, another silly over under, but this makes more sense. 39.5. Nude, I am not picking this game. Who you like, who you love.
Okay, I know you're not picking this game, and you're gonna probably pick against us. So I'm just gonna be smart and just pick the Eagles and the under.
Are you taking money line Eagles? Or are you taking 12.5?
Don't they minus 12.5, right?
Minus 12.5.
Yeah, the spread. I'm not.
So you're taking minus 12.5 and the under,
dude. It's
Fuck
Garrett
you.
Gilbert. It is. If it was Tyler Heineke, I would not. But it's Garrett. Like you just showed me the fucking picture. Don't show me the picture.
He was part of Honor Society in middle school.
Oh my god. Go next game, please. Next game. You're not proving anything. Next game.
Carolina Panthers versus the Buffalo Bills. God, we're so fucked. Carolina Panthers versus the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills here. Another crazy spread, but it makes a decent amount of sense. Buffalo Bills are minus 11.5.
A mad Buffalo against over. And then whatever the over is. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
which is 44.5. Over under is 44.5. I'm actually gonna go Carolina Panthers cover the 11.5.
Ooh, you're Cameron Newton.
I'm with Cammy Boy, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go over here. So absolute opposite of Newton Joe on the same page. Next up, the true, although it's been a little better, but still, I would say this has got to be the true dumpster fire game of the Joe's dumpster fire game of the week. Is the New York Jets versus the Miami Dolphins. They are going to be in Cocaine City for this, Nude. Depends on which city you refer to as Cocaine City, because arguably where the Jets are, you can get plenty of shitty cocaine. Miami, you can get maybe more decent cocaine. Not that I know the cocaine game. With all that being said, the Dolphins are minus 9.5. Oh, again, family show. Over under is 41. Nude, who you like, who you love.
You just confused the shit out of me. What is the game?
Yeah, I moved really fast with that cocaine reference. The game
I was like, what the fuck?
really fast. If you kept up with me, shout out to you. New York Jets versus the Miami Dolphins. Like, I just
Give me
did
the Dolphins.
about this game.
Dolphins and under. What the fuck were you saying, Joey?
If you want an experience of what it's like to do cocaine with me, you just got it.
Oh
Dolphins
my
are minus
God.
9.5. Over under is 41. And I'm gonna go ahead, go with my heart here. Jets plus 9.5, and I'm going under.
All right, next one. And
Dallas Cowboys. Here, I'll go ahead. I'll pop his Xanax and I'll slow myself down. Don't worry. Next up is the Dallas Cowboys versus the New York Giants. The New York Giants are also, unfortunately, housed in New Jersey, so that's going to be shitty, but it is what it is. They have to play in Jersey every single week. They're at a home game. They are plus 10.5 against the Dallas Cowboys. Over under is 44.5. Dude, who you like, who you love.
give me them Cowboys and the over, actually. I think the over is going to hit.
Go ahead and give me the Giants to win this game and my dog of the week. That's going to be plus 390. That dog is, and the over is going to go ahead and hit.
There you go.
Next, yeah, baby, gotta love it. You're not picking this next game, so I'll go ahead and I will just get right into it. Tennessee Titans, Pittsburgh Steelers,
Titans in the under.
I'm going Titans in the over here. It's 42.5.
Thanks. Oh, the fourth quarter stuff. We'll probably score 4 touchdowns and lose the game.
Exactly. There's going to be, you guys are going to score 6 touchdowns in the fourth, and then and just lose the game by 3 points.
Just lose the game by a kick. Yeah.
Next up, we have actually, this is the true dumpster fire, dude. Do apologize, folks. And Joe's true dumpster fire game of the week. It is the Houston Texans versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville Jaguars are minus 4.5. A lot of low totals this week, nude. Over under is 39.5.
Ooh.
You like you love.
I'm gonna go to the Jags because they fired Urban Myers and the whole like new coach thing. So I'm gonna go to the Jags to cover and then give me the under.
You know what? Just because I want another Newton Joe on the same page, it's the holiday season. We're in good
You were gonna
spirit.
pick the Texans? You were gonna pick the Texans?
No, I was gonna go ahead and go over just because all these totals are insane. But I'm gonna ride with you, Newton Joe on the same page. We're gonna go Jags cover and under. Next up, did you just blow kisses at somebody?
Frankie's in here, my dog.
Frankie! Next, Frankie! Making a very nice rare appearance on Face of the Franchise. Always appreciated when he pops in for a cameo. Next up, and I wonder who Frankie's going to pick here. Maybe we can get Frankie's pick here as well, if possible, nude. We have just an exclusive Frankie's
let's
pick
see.
for the Arizona Cardinals versus the Detroit Lions. Frankie, the Lions are plus 12.5 at home. The over-under is 47.5. Frankie, who you like, who you love.
I'll give you mine first. Give me the Cardinals, obviously, and the over. But Frankie, who do you want?
Frankie's got to think on it. You're taking Cardinals and over. We're going to go Nude and Joe on the same page.
Frankie.
Let's see if we get a
Frankie. Cardinals?
Frankie. Or Lions? I saw his ears perk up. He's on Cardinals. All right, so you guys.
Yeah, here you go. Cardinals.
He definitely has Cardinals. There's no doubt there. We heard it. He said it. And we're going to go ahead. And this is an exclusive Frank Joe, Nude, and Frankie on the same page. He's coming here to show face for our non-YouTube viewers. Frankie, Joe, and Nude on the same page. Pick of the week. This is our game of the year. In fact, it is Cardinals in the over because we have Frankie on our side. This is the pick of the year from Face of the Franchise.
Oh, yeah. This is the game of the year.
Game of the year. Exclusive pick from Frankie. We're putting it all on the line here. Take out your savings. Go to your local casino. Go to FanDuel right now and put it all on the Frankie pick. Cardinals minus 12.5 and the over. Thank you, Frankie. We are honored. We are blessed to have your pick, good sir. Next up in a game that nobody wants to bet on because who fucking cares? Although I guess there are some 49er believers still out there, which I understand because the Falcons are going to see San Francisco 49ers in San Francisco, minus 9. The 49ers are over unders 46. Nude, who you like, who you love.
Give me the Niners and the over because Falcons score. They just score. That's all they do, but they can't defend worth shit.
I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go with our third, Nude and Joe on the same page. I hope you're taking this down and marking parlays because we got your 6-leg parlay. That's a lot. Next up is the Cincinnati Bengals for our first afternoon game on Sunday. Is going to be the Cincinnati Bengals, or evening game rather. Cincinnati Bengals versus the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos are -2.5. The over/under is 44. Nude, who you like, who you love.
As much as I hate to do it, but I'm going to pick the Bengals and the under.
I'm going to go ahead and pick the Bengals in the under. Listen, the Bengals have put they were my disappointment this past week. I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have to stick to my guns. That's why I'm going Broncos, and I'm going under here. Broncos money line and under. I'm not touching the spread. Broncos under. Green Bay Packers going to see the Baltimore Ravens. Packers are -6.5.
Don't ask me, but it's going to be over. It's going to be the over too.
Fourth. Newton and Joe on the same page. Packers in the over. Next up, we have the Seattle Seahawks in a rivalry game against the Los Angeles Rams. Although how much of a rivalry will really be? Does Russell still want to be there? No, he does not. He no longer wants to cook in that chat. -4 the Rams are. Over under is 44.5. Nude, who you like, who you love.
I'm picking the Seahawks to cover because the Rams are really not playing with anyone, and I'm going to go the under.
Almost Newton Joe on the same page, almost fifth one, which starts to stack up and makes you nervous, even though we had 6 on that week one. And again, we were correct on all of them. So it's a 12-team parlay that you could have stacked on. I'm going to go ahead and I'm saying Seahawks cover because, again, yes, Rams are just decimated right now, but I'm going over. I think it's a surprising shootout. You just hawk it to Cooper Cup all day. I think you'll be fine. There is a chance Henderson still might play, so we'll see. Next game up is the New Orleans Saints in another rivalry game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We've already slightly alluded to this game. -11 the Buccaneers are. -11 the Buccaneers are. Over under 46.5. Dude, who you like, who you love.
You ready?
I'm thinking you go cover here, or you go a Joe +410 dog like I did with the Giants, right?
Yep. Give me the Saints money line and give me the over.
So if you really want to, folks, if you're feeling us, if you can tell we've been hot lately, you're keeping track, unlike myself, put down just that dog parlay, the Saints and the Giants, and that's paying off your new boat, your new house. It's paying off it all. With that being said, what'd you say over under here? 46.5.
I said under.
Under? Really?
No, wait, I said over. Sorry, over. Over and over and the Saints money line. So
I don't have enough balls for that. Shout out, Newt. Although I may put like a little $5 guy out there just for shits and gigs on the face of the franchise dog parlay. However, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going +11 for sake of record. If we ever do go back and keep track, +11. And I'm going to go.
With house money. I'm playing with house money. So
this fair enough. So this is my lock of the over of the week right here. 46.5. Clear over. Speaking of clear over-unders, this next one is a clear under to me, despite the team that is playing. Minnesota Vikings going to see the Chicago Bears, +5.5. The Bears are at home. Over-under 44. Dude, who you like, who you love.
Under in the Vikings. Let's keep it moving, baby.
Under and +5.5 for the Bears. That is our picks for the week. Go ahead. Put in your bets now. Again, take out all your savings, pull out your 401k early, do what you have to do. Let's make things happen. You're welcome. We're buying you a new home.
Thank you guys for rocking with us as well. I know this was a long show. I know we took a hiatus, but life happens, but we're going to be back on track. Good luck in your fantasy playoffs from me and Joe, as well as good luck to the stretch. This is a 4-game stretch. Playoff teams come to fruition. Some make a run that you never see coming. So good luck to everybody's teams out there, as well as we like to shout out our sponsors. Thank you so much to Stuck Up Clothing, finest fashion money can buy. New line coming out soon with some new T-shirts, some new tank tops, some everything.
They look pretty dope, by the way. It's a completely new kind of direction. They're taking the style. Exactly. They're taking the design. I'm really excited about it. All the previews they've been showing out look great. And go check them out ASAP, man.
Yeah, look them up on Instagram. That's Stuck Up Clothing, as well as their website is on there to order, to get whatever you need, as well as Seductions by Jax. I know weddings are coming up. some dances are coming up. You need to book her up now on IG. That is Seductions by Jax. And you need to find your appointment for you. She is the best in the business and will take anyone. I mean, everybody needs hair done, nails done, everything. Eyesight, iMobile Eyewear Company as well. That is Eyesight with an I. The mobile eyewear company that comes to you for sunglasses, for prescription glasses, for anything that you need. Follow them on IG as well, and their website is right there for all their new line. We tag them all in all our posts as well as our Instagram stories, so follow them. As well as this episode is brought to you by Stuck Up, Smooth My Balls. Get your shaver down there. Christmas is coming up. Get the man in your life the razor he needs to get a nice smooth balls down there. 4CR20. Use the promo code 4, the number 4CR, the number 20 to get money off your next purchase.
Guys, and I just want to say I've tried this. I mean, bump free, all those typical cliches and problems you run into doesn't happen here. You're itch free, which I was really surprised about. And it's again, you feel awakened, you feel like you found your true spirit animal when you go ahead and you go and shave my balls.
We do not sponsor anybody that we do not believe in. That's why Eyesight, I've gotten my glasses from them. Stuck Up, me and Joe have their clothing line, as well as I have Seductions by Jax has helped me with my hair as much as it looks like a mess right now, and as well as Smooth My Balls. Thank you guys so much for sponsoring us. Thank you guys for listening. I am the Pharaoh. That is Little Joe. Stay breezy, stay easy. One love.
2022, Aaron Rodgers starting quarterback.
Stop.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
I gotta change my pants.